You're waking up to an incredibly sombre evening for Queen Elizabeth's 4 children. It's just gone 9 p.m. in London, and it was just moments ago when King Charles led his siblings in a really touching ceremony known as the Vigil of Princes, a moving tribute before Her Majesty's funeral on Monday.
And that queue for the public to file past Queen Elizabeth's coffin has become more than authorities could deal with. It was shut off overnight, with a queue being formed to join the queue. That line now stretches nearly 8 kilometres along the Thames to Westminster Hall.
And Sunrise correspondent Bianca Stone is at Buckingham Palace. Bianca, wow, that was again this example of this very public family having a private moment, her 4 children, in such a public way.
Oh, Matt, another really emotional day here in London. We saw the pain on their faces yet again, standing vigil over their mother. And for the first time, we actually saw the Queen's great-grandchildren there at that vigil as well. Just in the past few minutes, we have seen King Charles come back here to Buckingham Palace. Some pretty big crowds here to greet him as well. And there are still plenty of queues waiting to see the Queen pay their last respects to the Queen. That crowd is snaking through the city. It's continuing to dominate the news here. And there are reports you can actually see that line from space. Westminster Hall stood still for 15 minutes, the Queen's children holding vigil before her coffin. Led by King Charles, Princess Anne, Prince Andrew and Prince Edward mounted guard at the corners of the catafalque, all 4 dressed in military attire, including Prince Andrew. Earlier in the day, the King and Queen Consort were in Wales, completing Charles's first tour of the UK as King. Wales has a particular significance for the new monarch, who for 5 decades held the title Prince of Wales.
I take up my new duties with immense gratitude for the privilege of having been able to serve as Prince of Wales.
Outside Westminster Hall, a line wraps around South Bank, queuing for the Queen, who's lying in state inside. A sacred few moments in exchange for a wait time of over 24 hours.
It's 2 hours, and we're going where? Palace of Westminster.
It paused for 6 hours when it reached capacity. A warning was issued to the public, people told not to join the queue.
Folks, Southwark Park is now closed. You won't get into the park.
There was just one problem. The queue carried on. Among them, David Beckham, waiting his turn like everyone else.
We all want to be here together. We all want to experience something where we celebrate an amazing life with our Queen.
He queued for more than 13 hours for this precious moment. World leaders are also taking the chance to pay their respects. New Zealand's Prime Minister filed through Westminster Hall, bowing before Her Majesty. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and his invitees arrived in London ahead of Monday's funeral, while Australian troops, who'll play a special part in the service, met with the Prince and Princess of Wales in Surrey. 7 News reporter Tim McMillan joins me now from that long queue at Lambeth Bridge. Tim, Anthony Albanese has touched down. He was here at Buckingham Palace not too long ago. When is he expected to go to Westminster Hall to pay his respects?
Well, luckily for the Prime Minister, he won't have to join the queue like the masses of people here. He is due to attend Westminster Hall at 11:30 a.m. local time tomorrow. And it's part of a very busy schedule for Mr Albanese while he's here. He's got meetings tomorrow with the King, we understand, as well, the new British Prime Minister, Liz Truss, and a whole host of other heads of state and dignitaries who are here as well across the weekend. But already this evening, since arriving, we've seen him attend Canada Gate, just by Buckingham Palace, to see some of the tributes for the Queen that have been laid out in the past few days, and as well to lay a wreath. He also had a few words to say to the accompanying media.
Well, it's a great honour to be representing Australia here. Quite clearly what we can see all around us is the affection in which Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth was held by people here in the United Kingdom, but also, of course, here in Australia and right around the Commonwealth.
And a really special moment for about 40 or so ADF soldiers who had a chance to meet with William and Kate this afternoon at the Furbright Army Training Centre. They'll have a special role to play in the ceremony on Monday. Meanwhile, this slow shuffling mass of people that have been inching their way towards Westminster Hall. It's still moving, but it is pretty slow. These people here are quite buoyant. They're not too far from the finish line. But spare a thought for the people who are just arriving at the back of the queue. Incredible to think that they are not going to get there realistically until about this time tomorrow.